Nous allons donc reprendre le programme de notre journée avec l'intervention de Madame l'ambassadrice du Lesotho, Madame la représentante de l'ambassade américaine et la présentation du climat des affaires donc, par le Sénégal. Et je cède ma place à Loïc Giraudon, qui est donc notre Monsieur Afrique à la direction des relations internationales à la ville de Marseille.
Merci Malisa. Bonjour mesdames, bonjour messieurs, bonjour à tout le monde. Alors, première précaution d'usage, nous avons deux interventions de pays africains anglophones, c'est plus rare à Marseille. Donc, il y a des casques qui étaient à disposition, donc pensez éventuellement à les prendre s'il y en a qui ne l'ont pas encore fait. Donc, nous avons le plaisir d'accueillir, et c'est assez rare, donc Son Excellence, Madame Linéo Ntoane, du Royaume du Lesotho, à laquelle je vais céder la parole tout de suite. Vous préférez debout? Oui. Hein? You can do it stand.
Thank you very much, Mr. Coordinator. I planned to present, to do my presentation in PowerPoint, and I thought I would see it reflected. If not, I will still do that. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I want to take this opportunity first to thank the organizers of this occasion to have invited me to present Lesotho's investment opportunities. And I will do that. Although, as you can imagine, I'm a little, did not plan to present it this way. I don't even know how much time I have. 20 minutes. 20 minutes? Okay. Maybe I'll sit down, yeah? Yeah? No, it's not too much. It's not too much. Maybe I'll sit down, because now, yeah. Is it possible to play a short video? 2 minutes. 2 minutes video. Okay, let me tell you how I planned my presentation. I planned to do an overview of Lesotho to introduce my country. And I planned to do that with a short video. And I did send my presentation, and this is why I'm asking if it can be done. And if not, it is okay. Let me first of all introduce Lesotho. Lesotho is a kingdom, and it is a democratic kingdom, the same system as in the United Kingdom. It is a small country, 32,000 meters squared in land surface. It is completely surrounded by the Republic of South Africa, so we have one neighbor. I intend to present on key sectors that I hope that participants here would be interested in. The first one is on mining. Currently, we have about, the mining sector is now dominated by diamond mining. And we currently have about 5 mining houses, and one of them is completely operational, and the other two are just finding themselves, and the two last ones are being starting to operate. And what we mostly are in need of in terms of the mining sector for investment is, first of all, let me talk about diamond beneficiation. We currently produce and straight away the raw diamond as it is, take it out for export to other countries, including Belgium, Canada, and others. So what we need is for beneficiation, just so that we can have benefit in the country, more benefit that remains in the country other than just tax and employment. And to that effect, regulatory arrangements are being made so that we, first of all, the raw diamond gets exported, the diamond and selling house. We have a selling house in the country. And after that, we want to have cutting and polishing immediately after this step. And from there, the sky is the limit. We really, really would want to have beneficiation done in the country. And beyond beneficiation, expansion, we have a great opportunity for expansion. About 3/3 of the country show potential for minerals, whether diamond or others that are not yet explored. So to this, for any interested person, any investor who would be interested in coming to Lesotho, first of all, you can, if you want for the exploration part, you can just show up in the country and go to the Commissioner of Mines, and whilst there, negotiate with them which part you want, because they will give you all the information on which area, what has already happened, because some of it is part feasibility studies have been done, some of them exploration, some of them just pure chemical mapping that shows that there are possibilities. So we have around 400 or 4 kilometers of kimberlite that is showing, and other potential minerals other than what we already know. Let me also show that some of Lesotho is number, I think, 17 in the world, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of production, diamond production, and we tend to go to number 14 in around 2017 thereafter. But let me also show that we produce some of the best quality diamonds, and per carat, we sell the carat, 1 carat, I think is about $2,000 US. And we have also produced some of the biggest diamonds, around 601 carats, the 400, 300, whatever. But we also produce some of the biggest and some of the clearest and high quality diamonds. And I know that is one thing that the global world may not be aware. And there are ample opportunities, not only for diamonds, but for starting of others, as I have already mentioned. Now we move to renewable energies. On the energy sector, we have abundant sources of water. The Orange River that you know that flows into the Atlantic Ocean starts from Lesotho, and many other smaller tributes and rivers of the world. We currently transfer water to South Africa through a project, Lesotho Highlands Water Project. So we transfer water to South Africa through two dams. And I think one dam, Katse Dam, is one of the biggest dams, I think, in Africa, if not the. And we now are going into the second phase of that transferring of water into South Africa. Let me also mention that other neighbors, particularly Botswana, is interested in getting that water that comes from the Mountain Kingdom. I did not mention that that country is all mountains because it is the highest, it is very high, and therefore the water is pristine and very, very clean. The lowest point of my country is 2,400 meters above sea level. So the water from there is really, really very clean, of very high quality. It's not about water now, it's about investment opportunities. So in this second phase, there are lots of opportunities before construction. As you know, there are environmental programs that need to happen. And this, you only have to consult with the Lesotho Highlands Water Project to have any interest or the tenders that are out to participate in any way, construction, design, even the other works that go before the construction of the dam. This dam is expected to be fully constructed by 2024. A lot of activities are happening right now, engineering, environmental, the health, and many others. So lots and lots of opportunities in that area. About the other part of energy, the policy now, the 2015 policy that has been put together through the support of the European Union, provides for a mixed energy program. And this only renewable, we already have the water that I told you about, and through that water we generate electricity. But right now the electricity that we generate is not enough even to cover our country. And we intend to have that solved through the second phase, when we will have enough for the country and also for export into the Southern African power pool. So the mixed energy policy will use the water that we are already using, the hydropower, the solar mainly, and mainly the hydropower, the solar, and the wind energy. So you'll wonder why, when I said that the second phase of the program, that dam is we are going also to have power storage that will cover the whole country and even for export. Why do we now need the other two sources of energy, namely wind and solar? It is because the country is, the topography of the country is such that it's all mountains, and sometimes you find that we have outlying communities, very remote, that cannot be supplied by the main grid. Therefore, we will need mini hydropower generation. We will also need the wind and also the solar. But because we have those in abundant, in concentration, therefore we will use those, and also to make sure that there is security of power. If water levels maybe go down, we will still continue to have other sources there. So great opportunities in the renewables, and we want to be totally green. I think we are already maybe greener than every country that is represented here, because we don't have much of industries that destroy the environment and all that. And let me now move to manufacturing. We invite potential investors to come to Lesotho for manufacturing in any other areas that you may feel you want to. Right now, we have textile industry, which I think is the biggest export subsector that we have. And it is that because we have the Africa and Growth, AGWA, Africa Growth and Opportunity Program, that export the apparel duty-free and quota-free to the United States. And we need to expand that, and therefore, there's very stable market opportunities for that. We also like to invite the other industries for maybe components assembly, electronics, food manufacturing, all the different areas for manufacturing. I will now move to agriculture. Currently, our agricultural sector is mostly subsistence, so we want to commercialize, modernize our sector. And in that, I wish to, first of all, talk about one important strategic agricultural product, wool and mohair. Wool and mohair currently, just like we do with diamonds, we have it, and straight away through South Africa, sell it to the outer world. What we need is beneficiation, the processing, the cleaning, the processing, and even making high-value products out of what we have. And for that, we think we will have more value, more growth into the more contribution of that subsector into the Lesotho economy. We also need into the livestock area, investment into the livestock area for improvement and expansion, and horticulture, talked about cannery, broilers, piggeries. The sky is the limit. And also to turn our skins and hides from our livestock, short and long livestock, to currently we don't do much about, very little if any that we do with our skins, leather, and the others. So we need production in terms of a factory or whatever level that it can be, to make sure that we gain more value out of that subsector. Real estate, there is ample opportunity for, you can talk about housing, you can talk about offices, golf courses, all that, all in need. And let me now quickly go to tourism. In tourism, there are opportunities. First of all, I want to invite you all to visit the Kingdom of Lesotho, so as tourists, and so that you can come and enjoy yourself, and to a country which is still very rural, very virgin, very untapped, and very interesting, because I told you about its topography. We have the ski. I think it's one ski resort that exists in the whole continent of Africa. So we have many water-based sports, abseiling, and the rough cyclings, and everything that you can only do in that kind of topography and terrain. And investment opportunities are also there for hospitality, infrastructure, all that. And I want now to go to read, because now I want to respond to the big question. The big question being, we understand you have these opportunities, so what would attract me to come to Lesotho and not anywhere else? So can you allow me to read why we should invest in Lesotho? We have stable investment climate, stable labor, allow me please, stable, very competitive labor that speaks English, and we have market access, as I've already made mention to the, for agua to the United States. We have also to the European Union. We can export anything, everything but arms. In the region, we have about access to about 300 million consumers. You will wonder, this I mentioned because the country is so small, less than 2 million people, but the market access is beyond that, beyond the SADC region, into the East African community, because we have free trade arrangements with all the Southern African countries and as well the East African countries. We have tax incentives. That includes, I'm not going to read all of them, but we do have a lot of tax incentives, and maybe I should not read them, but I will, as I've already said, I've forwarded my presentation. That can be electronically, and this can be given to you as you need it. And okay, so yes, I want to say thank you very much. We also have some contacts that we have attached to that presentation that will be helpful to you if you want to have any inquiries. And I am based in Berlin, in the Lesotho Embassy in Berlin, but I'm also covering France and the UNESCO. Thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup, Madame l'ambassadrice, pour la qualité de votre exposé, qui nous fait regretter que les petits problèmes techniques qu'on n'ait pas pu avoir des illustrations. En tout cas, Lesotho, qui est un pays qui est assez mal connu, je dois reconnaître, à Marseille. Je crois que les relations sont, peut-être avec la France, je crois que c'est vraiment une très belle opportunité. Alors, vous l'avez dit, mais je parle sous le contrôle des organisateurs, que bien entendu, tous les documents que nous n'avons pas pu voir seront disponibles ensuite dans les actes ou dans le compte-rendu de l'organisation. Est-ce qu'on a le temps, éventuellement, s'il y a quelques questions qui pouvaient vous être adressées directement de la salle? Est-ce que c'est prévu? Monsieur, je ne sais pas si on... C'est pour la traduction surtout.
Voilà un micro si vous voulez.
Voilà.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much for your presentation. Can you tell us if about foreign investment, if 100% foreign investment is possible in your country? And about French investment, can you tell us if you have any French investment in your country? And if yes, in which kind of sector? Thank you.
Hello. Okay. Yes, 100% foreign direct investment possible. We have, I know that we have some French contractors who participated in the first phase of the Lesotho Highlands Water Project for the building of the dam. But besides that, I'm not aware of any big investment, but we do have Alliance Française office in Lesotho.
Thank you very much.
Merci pour votre question. Je peux vous demander de vous présenter, c'est aussi pour les actes, si ça vous...
Oui, bien sûr. Je m'appelle Bruno Lefébure, je suis avocat à Marseille et nous sommes effectivement ici un certain nombre de confrères du barreau de Marseille. Ça a été signalé tout à l'heure par la conseillère municipale à l'invitation de cette manifestation, tout simplement.
Merci. Monsieur. Pardon, monsieur, il y a une question là.
Oui, je me présente Pierre Salamé, donc je suis le PDG du groupe Société Méridionale de Construction. Notre siège est à Beyrouth au Liban. Et donc, effectivement, on s'investit énormément sur l'Afrique. Et donc, mon message, je voudrais m'adresser à Madame l'ambassadeur. Donc, effectivement, nous avons plusieurs projets en Afrique, et notamment au Cameroun, en Côte d'Ivoire et au Mali. Donc, effectivement, les gouvernements qui se trouvent en place ont du mal à financer les projets. Donc on passe par des bailleurs de fonds que vous connaissez, le FMI, le BAD, la BCE et la Banque islamique de développement. Effectivement, ils demandent systématiquement une garantie d'État pour pouvoir financer des projets aussi bien dans le domaine public que dans le domaine privé. Alors, nous, effectivement, tout ce qui concerne l'aspect de l'engineering, on la réalise très souvent. Donc, si le projet sort, nous sommes payés. Si le projet ne sort pas, donc c'est à fond perdu. Il n'en demeure pas moins qu'on n'arrive pas, donc ça fait maintenant depuis 5 ans, on n'arrive pas à concrétiser les projets. Donc, on nous dit effectivement, investissez, investissez. Mais on trouve les investissements, on ne trouve pas les garanties nécessaires à mettre en face. Comment vous voyez la chose et comment faut-il faire? Merci.
My answer is I can only take that back home and tell them that I went to promote Lesotho's investment, and the big question was the state guarantees, and that if we do that, we will have massive investors coming into our country. I take that back home.
Merci. Bon, s'il n'y a pas d'autres questions... Pardon ?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. It was an excellent presentation. It's a shame that we didn't have your video, but next time. I have a few questions. First of all, my name is Marc Lassus. I'm involved in renewable energies in the region, and I'm coaching several startups. You mentioned that you're interested in wind energy and solar energy. So that's typically an activity we are developing here. So we'd be very interested to know what can be done in your country. How much do you have in isolated areas? Because our system, our small system, mobile system, and we take the energy from the sun and the wind, and we can bring electricity anywhere. We're also involved in the water purification and water desalination, but you have no sea in your area. And my last question, do you have an international airport? So we can communicate, because it's very important to be able to move around. Thank you very much.
We do have an international airport. To go to Lesotho, as I said, we are completely surrounded by the South African country. You have to go through Johannesburg Airport and then to Lesotho. You have more than 5 daily trips. We have South African Airways and one other local carrier that operates between Johannesburg and Lesotho. And in the near future, the second carrier will also operate between Durban and Cape Town. And I would like to talk to you more about the solar and the wind and what we can do. Thank you very much.
Merci. Peut-être, je regarde, je vois très mal, passer peut-être la parole maintenant à monsieur. Pardon? Ah, on voit très mal. Encore une question, et le Lesotho étant mal connu.
Merci bien. Georges Vinapon, journaliste et fondateur du site Espace Mosaïque dédié aux expatriés, aux impatriés francophones. Merci, Madame l'ambassadrice. Voilà, je voudrais juste un tout petit peu revenir sur une question dont se posent majoritairement les expatriés ou ceux qui veulent aller investir en dehors de leur pays d'origine. C'est au sujet de la fiscalité. Est-ce que vous pouvez nous en dire un tout petit peu plus sur votre politique concernant la fiscalité en particulier? Et puis aussi, pourquoi pas, nous parler un peu des formalités d'accès dans votre pays pour s'y installer éventuellement. Merci.
Une question qui risque de demander une longue réponse.
There is on tax, the tax incentives are as follows. We have 10% maximum corporate income tax rate on the manufacturing and agricultural activities. We have no withholding tax on dividends distributed by manufacturing firms to local or foreign shareholders. We have no advanced corporation tax for companies on the distribution of manufacturing profits. And we have training costs for Basotho allowable at 125% for tax purposes. Easy repatriation of profits and capital. We have a low VAT tax rate of 14% and 100% depreciation allowance on investment in industrial building and mining equipment. We also provide a fully serviced site. If you go and are interested in setting up in Lesotho, we provide a fully serviced site with the shed, also the cover of where you are going to be. And we have one-stop shop, one place where you can register your company and register for permits, register for utilities. And we have an institution, Lesotho National Development Corporation, which provides all the assistance that an investor has. So you have that as your home. If you have any problems, including labor, any other matters, you have that point of call as the one that provides all the assistance.
Thank you. Merci. D'autres questions? Ensuite, tout au long de la journée, même en dehors, et puis demain, il y a les réunions B2B, tous ces points pourront être approfondis. Donc, je vais passer tout de suite la parole à Monsieur, Son Excellence, Monsieur Negat Sengai Tessema, qui est ambassadeur d'Éthiopie, autre pays anglophone, et autre pays mal connu par son image dans notre région. Donc, je vous passe la parole, Monsieur l'ambassadeur, pour une vingtaine de minutes. Si vous préférez intervenir effectivement debout, c'est possible, sauf si la technique...
Excellencies, ministers, ambassadors, honorary consulate generals, honorary consul, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank the Mandela Institute for organizing this important forum, focusing on the investment opportunities and conditions in Africa. I'm the ambassador of Ethiopia to France. I cover also Spain, Portugal, and the Holy See. I'm also the permanent delegate of Ethiopia to UNESCO. So my focus today is only on Ethiopia. So To begin with, my presentation will focus on three areas. One on the I will give you some highlights about Ethiopia. Then, in the second part, some of our main focuses on our investment policies. And finally, the investment opportunities, areas, the Ethiopian comparative advantage, or the priority sector of investment in Ethiopia. In the first part, to give you some general facts about Ethiopia. Ethiopia is located in the eastern part of Africa, commonly known as Horn of Africa. The Ethiopian population is now estimated more than 90 million. It is the second populous country in Africa next to Nigeria. When you see the demographic structure of the population, 70% of the population is young, less than 30 years old age. So we have abundant young generation, very dynamic and easily trainable labor force. The Ethiopian society Ethiopia is a multi-ethnic, multi-religious, and multi-culture. It's an ancient country. Ethiopia has never colonized, and it maintains its own culture, its own properties. So in Ethiopia, we use our language. We have different calendar. We use different calendar, Ethiopian calendar. We use the Jubilean calendar, not the Gregorian calendar in Ethiopia. So we have also rich in culture, a lot of tourist destination areas in Ethiopia. I think 9 of the heritage registered by UNESCO. This is tangible one, 9 tangible, and 2 intangible cultural heritage has registered in UNESCO yet. The geographic area of Ethiopia is wide. It is 1.1 million square kilometers. This is greater than France plus Spain. The economy of Ethiopia is mainly agrarian economy, but it's one of the fastest growing economy these days. The economy has grown a double digit for the last 12 consecutive years. This is one of the African best performing economies. The main sector is agriculture, service, and manufacturing, especially light manufacturing. Now we are trying to transform our economy from agrarian to manufacturing. So this structural transformation of the economy is going well underway. Poverty is reducing from year to year. We have achieved the Millennium Development Goal even in this regard. Inflation is mostly remained a single digit. We are now focusing on export-oriented economies. Now we export especially agricultural raw materials and some industrial products, textile, leather and leather products, and mining also. We have a huge potential for renewable energy, hydro, wind, sun. Even we have a huge potential for geothermal energy also. In hydropower, Ethiopia is second. In terms of potential, Ethiopia is second next to Congo. So we have a potential of 45 million megawatt in hydro, but we utilized very small part of this yet. So we are focusing on expanding of our energy, renewable energy resources. So our plan is, even we want to export energy to our neighboring countries. We have already sold energy to Djibouti, Sudan, and we have a plan to continue to export energy to Kenya and other countries. The domestic saving and investment is growing very fast. The foreign direct investment also has increased tremendously, $7.2 billion for the last 5 years alone. The government has invested a lot in building infrastructures, roads, railways, irrigations, expanding of airports, and so on. As you may know, we have been establishing a great Ethiopian Renaissance Dam on the Nile River. It is a hydropower project. It is one of the first in Africa. This huge project is financed by the government and by the people of Ethiopia alone, this huge investment. Now this project has completed 50%, and it is going on its schedule. We cannot think about investment without the development of infrastructure. That's why we invest a lot in infrastructure in Ethiopia. Our vision is to reach a middle-income country. Ethiopia is a poor country. So our vision is to reach a middle-income country by 2025. We have prepared a climate-resilient green economic strategy. So our development plan, our development strategy is in line with the green growth economic strategy. So that our plan is to reach a zero net emission of carbon by 2025. This is our ambition plan in our green economic strategy. So to reach our vision, we need a foreign direct investment to fill the gap of the country's capacity. What type? We need an investment that contributes a lot to our development goal. We have comparative advantage in many sectors like agriculture, light manufacturing industries, pharmaceutical, horticulture, floriculture and agriculture, floriculture, horticulture also, and so on. So we need investment in our priority sectors, in our comparative, what we have comparative advantages. So we plan from foreign investor, we expect that the transfer of technology, management know-how, and technical skill. We have a shortage, we have lack of technology and know-how. So from foreign investment, we expect to get this one. And from industries, export-oriented industries in prioritized sectors, and relatively to create employment opportunities and contribute to our economic diversifications. So an investment which satisfied or qualified or brings this type of benefits to the Ethiopian economy is welcomed, most welcomed. Foreign investors can invest on their own 100% or in partnership with domestic investors in areas of open for foreign direct investment. No restriction on equity ownership in joint investment. But it's required to have investment permit from the Ethiopian Investment Commission and other work permits from relevant government organs as appropriate. In our policy, investment policy, to invest in Ethiopia, a foreign investor to invest in Ethiopia, there is investment minimum requirement, a finance requirement. USD 200,000 for a whole foreign-owned single investment project. If the project, the investment is done with joint with domestic investor, the minimum requirement will be 150,000 USD. For technical consultancy, 100,000. But if it is undertaken jointly with a domestic investor, it will be $50,000. This is the minimum requirement to get an investment license from the Ethiopian Investment Commission. Our investment incentive, we have a very attractive investment packages. To mention some of them is exemption from the payment of custom duty on imported capital goods, construction materials, Also, exemption from the payment of custom duty on imported spare parts worth up to 15% of the value of the imported capital goods. Income tax exemption up to 9 years. It depends on the project type. Income tax exemption for industrial zone developers up to 15 years. And loss carry forward. An investor who has incurred loss within the income tax exemption period shall be allowed to carry forward such losses after the expiry of such period for half of the income tax exemption period. The law does not discriminate between domestic and foreign investors. There is also guarantee against exploration or nationalization. The Constitution and investment law provides guarantee for investors. We have signed bilateral investment promotion and protection treaties with 30 countries. There is also privilege to full repatriation of profits, dividend, principal and interest payment on external loan, and so on, out of Ethiopia in foreign currency. And you have the right to employ expatriate managers and experts also. In our priority sector, one of the main investment sector in Ethiopia is the manufacturing one. One is textile and garment. The production of textile fabric, garment, other textile products is one of the area of investment. The other one is leather and leather products, tanning of hides and skin up to finished level, leather goods and articles. That means shoes, garments, and so on. The other one is agricultural opportunities. We have different climate zones suitable for the production of many crops, more than 240 crops. So, to mention some of them, sugarcane plantation, horticulture, and floriculture. The government has allocated suitable land for horticulture and floriculture investment. Today, or currently, Ethiopia is the second exporter of rose flowers in Africa. We have a great potential in this sector. Like we have abundant water, surface and groundwater. The labor cost is, we can say, cheap. Electricity is cheap. The price of electricity in Ethiopia is cheaper than the other countries. You can compare it. How much per kilowatt? Rubber tree plantation, the other one. So the chemical products, pharmaceutical products, engineering and metal fabricated products, and the most one is agro-processing. We export now many agricultural products without any value addition. So we encourage investors to participate in agro-processing manufacturing sector. The government has now been establishing agro parks also. We have established industrial parks, but we have embarking on establishing the agro processing parks also. Mining also another part, exploration for and development of gold and related base metals, tantalum, iron and phosphate, platinum group elements, and exploration for petroleum and natural gases also. To mention some of the selected commodities in Ethiopia, one is the livestock. This is one part of the agricultural sector. As you may know, Ethiopia is first in terms of cattle population in Africa and 10th in the world. But the export of meat is very limited yet. We have a plan to expand this sector also. Currently, we export live animals to neighboring countries and the Middle East. But we have ample opportunities for value addition, for agro-processing in these sectors. The next one, coffee. As you know, Ethiopia is, the birthplace of coffee is Ethiopia, especially the Arabican coffee. So Ethiopia, the leading producer of this coffee, but we export coffee as raw. 90% is raw coffee we export. So we need value addition, agro-processing, light industries in this sector also. Sisem, we produced this also, one of the largest producer in the world, but 95% of the export volume is raw here also. So when you see the fruit and vegetable also, Ethiopia is located, you know, at a crossroad to Africa, Middle East, and Asia. There is also favorable climate for fruits and vegetables. Pulses also the same. So we have developed an industrial parks for manufacturing sector, for agro-processing. So this parks is near surrounding in Addis, the Bole Lemi 1 and Bole Lemi 2 is found surrounding in Addis, and also the third one, Kilinto. This one financed by the World Bank. And this park is concentrated for, dedicated for food and beverage, garments and textile and pharmaceutical. These parks, as you know, facilitates the industrial investments. Land in Ethiopia is the property of the government and the people. So we leased land by very minimal price to the investors, for the foreign and the domestic investors. So the land price is very low in Ethiopia. It is part of our investment policy, as one of incentive package. Every industrial, agricultural investment requires suitable and suitable and the required amount of land. So when we build an industrial park, the investors can immediately install their machinery in that park, and they will get every infrastructures fully there. There is also a one-stop shop with all necessary services are being implemented. The custom clearance also available on that site. So the development of industrial park is one of the infrastructure that required to expand, to encourage, to expand industrial investments in Ethiopia. So we have learned this from the fastest growing economies in East Asia. So we have invested a lot in this park. So to mention some of the presence of multinationals currently in Ethiopia are many, in many sectors, in agro-processing sector like brewery, Dajo, the UK, is already in Ethiopia now. Heineken is already produced in Ethiopia now. In textile sectors, the IKADIS, the Turkish company, is operated in Ethiopia. In footwear industries, the Hujan of China is already invested in Ethiopia, and there are a lot. In France, now there are many French companies invest and do business in Ethiopia. For instance, as you know, now one of the French wine is produced in Ethiopia by Castel. Castel has a farm, a grape farm, and the manufacturing of wine in Ethiopia. So we export wine to the other world, to the French wine. In our infrastructure projects, Alstom is participated in the electromechanical parts in the Ethiopian Great Renaissance Dam. There are a lot of consultants, even in the wind, in the renewable energy, wind, Varnet. I'm sorry for the pronunciation of the name of the company, is operated in Ethiopia. Ashegoda in its north part of Ethiopia, The project is Ashegoda Wind Farm that was built by French company. In infrastructure, even the ADP, the airport Paris, is now participated in the design, in the consulting projects in the Bole, the international airport expansion. And we have also a plan to build a new airport, and ADP is helping us in consulting this project also. So I know many French consulting companies working in Ethiopia in many sectors, in sugar companies, in railway companies, in water projects, water management projects, and so on. So we are happy on that. And we want to see more French companies in Ethiopia also. So to sum up my presentation, finally, I will conclude to give you some information. Why invest in Ethiopia? The first one is political and social stability. Ethiopia is safe and less crime rate in Africa. Very safe and less crime. Politically and socially stable, the macroeconomic stability, as I mentioned earlier, and rapid growing economy. And we have different climate zone and fertile soils, and private sector friendly investment, pro-investment government. The government is committed. Abundant and trainable labor force, labor law of international standards, strategic location at the crossroads between Africa, the Middle East, and Asia, competitive incentive packages, no tolerance to corruption, simple and transparent investment approval procedures, and access to wide market. Wide market, the domestic, we have large domestic market. We are the member of COMESA. Also, we have the benefits of AGOA, African Growth and Opportunity Act, and also EBA, Everything But Arms Agreement of the European Union. So, my embassy and the Foreign Ministry of Ethiopia, our focus is economic diplomacy. So we give a lot priority for economic activities. We believe that trade and investment ties is crucial for sustainable relationship between countries. So these days, the best place for investment destination is one of the place is Ethiopia. And I would like to take this opportunity to invite all investors, especially if they focus on the priority sectors, the comparative advantage sectors in Ethiopia are most welcomed. Thank you very much.
Merci, merci Monsieur l'ambassadeur. Je ne sais pas si on a le temps de prendre quelques questions. Monsieur Kananoa. Non, on va. Yeah, you can take it. I don't know if.
Oui.
She's coming with another.
Oui, très rapidement, Georges Vinapan, journaliste. Merci, Monsieur l'ambassadeur. Je voudrais juste...
2 minutes.
Je vous en prie.
Pardon.
Je vous en
Le temps
prie,
que Monsieur l'ambassadeur s'équipe d'un casque. Allez-y.
Oui, voilà. Je vous remercie, Monsieur l'ambassadeur. Je voudrais juste entendre quelques mots de votre part concernant notamment la partie du transport chez vous qui est très développée. Je crois qu'il y a un projet, l'avènement d'un métro ou du tramway, je crois, si je ne me trompe. Mais également aussi le secteur numérique dont on n'a pas beaucoup parlé, et je crois que là aussi, vous êtes à la pointe. Merci.
If I hear you properly about the infrastructure, railway infrastructure, we have a great plan, huge plan in expanding of our transport sectors in many ways, in roads, in railway. We have built the tramway, electric used tramway, the new tramway. We have already operational in Addis Ababa. We have already finalized the construction of Addis to Djibouti, the new railway. This railway will be operational soon. And we have a lot in many parts of the country to connect to the neighboring countries. That will enhance import, export, and human travel. And we have also the best airline in Africa, Ethiopian Airlines. So it connects Africa. So the one of the most profitable airline this day. So this airline has starting to combine the Airbus also, because all the Ethiopian aeroplane was, or most of them are Boeing 1. But recently the airlines combined the Airbus. This year the airlines has already bought 350 Airbus, and for the next 3 years they will increase another additional 12. So their flying destination is also increasing. So this is also one of the transport sector performed very well. So our plan is really huge because we don't think sustainable development without the development of infrastructure. That's why we invest a lot in transport and in energy sector, in any infrastructural development.
Thank you. Thank you, His Excellency, Mr. Ambassador. My name is Baba Karba. I'm a banker. I'm the former regional manager of Bank of Africa in Marseille, and now I'm running another business in mobile financial services. I just would like to take this opportunity to congratulate you first for this brilliant intervention. And now we are deploying mobile financial services in Africa, and I just would like to take this opportunity to ask you, what about exactly for this area in Ethiopia? Because we are in the process of launching a mobile financial services in Cameroon, which is quoted at €2 million. Our company name is located in London, MPOK Europe Limited. We have a branch in France. And we are sending flows from the diaspora as well to Africa. And we know that mobile financial services is such interesting in Ethiopia. And we really would like to know what is your government is offering for investment like this, because after deploying in Cameroon, we will deploy in West Africa. Even we are discussing in Botswana. And I really would like to study with your services the opportunities we can have in Ethiopia, as we know that Ethiopia is such a big and huge market for mobile financial services and for all inclusion financial as well. Thank you.
The banking service, not only the banking, even the insurance, all the financial sectors, and the telecommunication services, is not opened for foreign direct investment yet. So this sector is reserved only for domestic investors. So we are negotiating with the World Trade Organization. So it is in the process. So we will see in the future what will. I don't say now anything about this one. But what I know and what I want to tell you is that this sector is not opened yet, is not liberalized yet. This is what I will tell you now.
Thank you. Last question. Dernière question. Alors, merci, Monsieur l'ambassadeur. Ah, je ne vois pas.
My name is Dr. Didier Mouliam. I am pharmacist, but also economist in the healthcare sector, investor in distribution in Africa, UB Farm. I am shareholder, but I am also member of Fédération Internationale Pharmaceutique. And then I want to know more about the possibility to invest in the distribution of pharmaceutical sector and cosmetics. Because here in Marseille, we are strong in the working on cosmetics. And then we want to know, because you say the flower industry is high, that means you have a lot of raw material there. And then what is the possibility for that? And then I will do also the report of the African Pharmacy Journal. Thank you.
As I said earlier, the pharmaceutical investment and also for production of cosmetics is most welcomed. It's one of our comparative advantage in the manufacturing sectors. but only for distribution of these products without investment. I think maybe it needs with working with jointly with domestic investors. Otherwise, in my knowledge, this import-export trading is not liberalized yet, also like financial sector. But if you combine with investment, you can export them, you can distribute them. So if you produce in Ethiopia, yes, definitely you have to distribute in Ethiopia and elsewhere in the world. You have many advantages. There is no export tax in Ethiopia. So maybe if there is a room, maybe it's with a partnership with the domestic investors, maybe. I'm not sure really on that. And I tell you, surely, if you combine with the investment also, you can invest jointly with the Ethiopian investors or domestic investors. So in that way, that will be the best option in my view. Thank you.
Merci. Alors, je regarde bien pour ne pas me tromper. Donc, vu le temps qui tourne, je vais passer maintenant la parole à M. Diallo, qui est le premier conseiller économique auprès du Consulat général du Sénégal de Marseille, qui est bien connu d'un grand nombre de participants, qui va nous présenter un peu les opportunités et l'intérêt d'investir au Sénégal. La vidéo. Oui, là, je pense que la technique va suivre. Est-ce que vous pouvez lancer la vidéo, s'il vous plaît?
Bonjour, chers messieurs. Je suis président Alassane Diallo, premier conseiller consulat général du Sénégal. Je m'associe au regret de ne pas pouvoir effectuer que le chef de bureau économique du Sénégal à Paris n'est pas effectivement présent, dû effectivement à des problèmes de transport. Mais toutefois, effectivement, je saisis cette occasion pour vous présenter le climat des affaires au Sénégal. Merci. Alors, on va écouter. Alors, nous allons voir la vidéo effectivement de l'APIX. Allez-y, je sais.
Le Sénégal dispose de caractéristiques pays très attractives pour des investisseurs locaux et étrangers. Ce sont celles liées à la stabilité politique, donc à une tradition démocratique du pays. La deuxième caractéristique pays, donc, ce sont les conditions climatiques favorables du pays qui permettent donc un développement de projets touristiques et de projets d'aménagement hydro-agricole. La troisième caractéristique pays est celle liée à la position géographique confortable du Sénégal qui positionne le pays à moins de 6 heures de vol des États-Unis et de l'Europe.
Je pense que c'est un environnement qui s'améliore de jour en jour. Je pense, pour preuve, vous avez vous-même suivi, je pense tout dernièrement, une loi votée pour le partenariat public-privé qui peut accélérer et aider, je veux dire, certains investisseurs à réaliser d'investissements majeurs. Mais en dehors de cela, vous savez que le Sénégal est un pays stable, bon, parce que c'est une condition aussi première pour un environnement favorable. C'est un pays qui se réforme depuis le Code général des impôts et des domaines, de plus le Code de douane. Donc il y a des réformes majeures qui sont en train d'être entreprises. Nous sommes confiants, le partenariat du public et du privé s'améliore, se renforce. Donc nous sommes Je pense que notre environnement est très favorable. Il est important pour un décideur économique de pouvoir créer son entreprise très rapidement et surtout de pouvoir avoir un seul point fixe ou mobile, mais qui soit unique pour lui permettre de remplir toutes les formalités de création d'entreprise, mais aussi toutes les formalités qui vont en direction de son implantation, que ce soit les terrains, que ce soit les autorisations de construire et tout ce qu'on peut appeler les réseaux, l'électricité, l'eau. L'APIX a fait des progrès très importants.
On peut constater qu'au Sénégal, aujourd'hui, on peut créer son entreprise en une journée. On peut aussi faire des transactions au niveau du commerce frontalier dans des délais compétitifs. L'accès à l'électricité, l'eau, l'assainissement et au téléphone se fait à travers une seule procédure fusionnée au niveau du guichet unique de l'APIX. On peut aussi, on va vers l'automatisation de l'obtention du permis de construire et la facilitation liée à l'accès à l'électricité. Tout ce package vient aussi être conforté par la promulgation de la loi PPP qui permettrait de favoriser et d'accélérer l'intégration des investisseurs dans des projets éligibles au partenariat public-privé avec une forte propension de pouvoir intégrer les investisseurs locaux.
Sur un autre plan aussi, il est important de dire que l'environnement juridique s'est beaucoup amélioré, puisque l'investisseur doit être rassuré par la possibilité d'avoir recours à la protection de la justice, ce qui est important. Le gouvernement doit s'attacher non seulement à requalifier grâce aux réformes et à surtout l'accélération de ces réformes, qui pour la plupart en réalité ont été bien regardées et même adoptées. Il s'agit de les mettre en œuvre. Ça, c'est la première chose que le gouvernement devrait faire. La deuxième, mais le gouvernement est engagé à nos côtés là-dessus, c'est l'accélération de tout ce qui peut concerner l'infrastructure de connectivité, que ce soit la connectivité physique, les routes, les chemins de fer et autres, que la connectivité électronique, puisque vous savez que le Sénégal bénéficie quand même d'une avance considérable en ce qui concerne les technologies de l'information et de la communication.
Le récent projet et la vision du président de la République à travers le plan Sénégal émergent qui décrit les orientations pour atteindre l'émergence à hauteur de 7% à l'horizon 2017. À ce niveau, nous disposons d'un package de projets de 21 fiches de projets et de composantes de projets. À travers les infrastructures, nous disposons pour les projets PPP, le port sec de Kaolack, le tramway à l'intérieur de la ville de Dakar, à 35 km, 3 lignes qui permettent d'améliorer la mobilité urbaine. Nous avons aussi le chemin de fer qui permettrait de relier le centre-ville de Dakar au nouvel aéroport international Blaise Diagne. Et vous savez aussi que le Sénégal a bouclé des infrastructures de dernière génération à travers l'autoroute à péage qui permettrait de relier Dakar à sa banlieue en 30 minutes. Nous avons aussi, au niveau de l'éducation, la seconde université. Nous disposons aussi de projets en portefeuille, la Cité du Savoir et la construction de 10 à 15 résidences universitaires. Et puis aussi, on veut faire du Sénégal un hub du savoir à travers le Dakar Campus International. Au niveau de l'agriculture, nous allons développer donc des fermes agricoles pour assurer la croissance globale au niveau de 6 pôles de développement économique.
Voilà, merci pour cette vidéo. Je vais vous présenter en PowerPoint, bien sûr, déjà en présentation, si les choses sont prêtes, sur le cadre institutionnel et macroéconomique des investissements du Sénégal. Une présentation de M. Abdoulaye Ly, directeur de la promotion des investissements, qui a bien voulu être avec nous, mais malheureusement, effectivement, qui a été retenu à Las Palmas. Très rapidement sur le cadre institutionnel des affaires. Donc, les différents outils, effectivement, et instruments financiers que nous avons, et nous allons le parcourir. Donc, nous allons d'abord le cadre institutionnel des affaires, diagnostic macroéconomique, le plan Sénégal émergent que vous venez de suivre avec la vidéo, et les réformes du climat des affaires au Sénégal. Maintenant, le cadre institutionnel des affaires. Sur le cadre institutionnel des affaires, le Sénégal a développé un ensemble d'outils qui peut favoriser l'attractivité effectivement de la destination Sénégal et de favoriser effectivement la destination Sénégal en matière d'investissement des partenaires. Donc là, vous avez aussi tous ces outils qui sont abandon de la régulation administrative des prix, adoption des mécanismes du marché, assouplissement de la réglementation des changes, libéralisation du commerce et de l'investissement, rationalisation des régimes fiscaux, nouveau code général des impôts et réduction des délais de création d'entreprises en un seul guichet unique. Et nous avons l'adoption aussi standards internationaux de gouvernance. Nous y reviendrons. Le diagnostic macroéconomique, toujours sur cette partie, nous aurons, oui, allez-y. Au niveau du secteur réel, la croissance économique du Sénégal était de 4,3% sur les ratios, hein, bien sûr, sur 10 ans, donc à peu près à 4,7% en 2014. Alors, donc, nous aurons effectivement cette croissance, bien sûr, avec les différentes dispositions de référentiel économique qui est mise en place, devrait arriver d'ici, effectivement, 2035 à une croissance au moins à 7%. Mais aujourd'hui, les derniers événements, le président a pu l'a rappelé hier, effectivement, au comité, effectivement, qui a réuni le comité Afrique du MEDEF international, que le Sénégal, effectivement, en 2016, serait effectivement un taux de croissance de 6,6%. Alors, les répartitions sectorielles du produit intérieur brut au Sénégal. Vous avez le secteur primaire. Le secteur primaire représente 14,9% au Sénégal. Vous avez le secteur secondaire qui est de 20,9% et le secteur tertiaire de 64,2%. Alors, nous avons effectivement la répartition, effectivement, au niveau, justement, de cette graphique-là. Le déficit public du Sénégal a été ramené de 5,1% sur 10 ans et que nous voulons ramener aujourd'hui à 3% d'ici 2035. Alors, le Sénégal aussi a une maîtrise de sa dette qui est de 50,3% et nous avons les différents instruments internationaux, PPTE et ADM. Mais hier, le président de la République, effectivement, lors de cette rencontre, a dit que le Sénégal, effectivement, devrait mettre sa dette à hauteur de 57%. 19% de taux de pression fiscale, donc 30% sur l'indice social synthétique. Zéro accumulation d'arriérés de paiement en 2015. Et budget pro-business, nous avons le fonds souverain FONSIS, la caisse de consignation, vous avez le partenariat public, etc. Tout ça sont des instruments financiers qui peuvent aider effectivement à améliorer les finances publiques. Toujours dans ce diagnostic macroéconomique, le degré d'ouverture est de 57% au Sénégal. Alors, adoption de 3 principes, les principes de l'OMC, Organisation mondiale du commerce, et du CUNICEF. Nous avons un fort ancrage dans l'intégration économique. Un marché de 393 millions de consommateurs, c'est-à-dire qu'en fait, le Sénégal, de par sa position, et étant au niveau de la CEDEAO, effectivement, nous avons un marché au niveau de la CEDEAO, de l'Afrique de l'Ouest, de 300 millions, effectivement, de consommateurs. Alors, nous avons effectivement aussi l'uniformisation, justement, de l'union monétaire parité fixe zone euro, est égale à pour 655,957. Nous avons une libre transférabilité et garantie en devises, donc sur les zones franches. Nous avons une ouverture intégrale du compte du capital, franchie d'exploitation avec l'Union européenne. Toujours dans le cadre, effectivement, de ce secteur extérieur, alors là, si vous voyez la diversification des partenaires commerciaux, le Sénégal, effectivement, depuis 1980 à 2010, a essayé justement de diversifier ses différents partenaires commerciaux. Alors, en 1980, si vous voyez effectivement le graphique, l'histogramme que nous avons ici, alors c'était de 66% en fait, en termes, effectivement, le partenaire premier, c'était l'Union européenne. Mais en 2010, le Sénégal est arrivé à 32% pour rééquilibrer un peu ses échanges avec l'Union européenne. Alors, au niveau de la CEDEAO, vous avez effectivement le graphique qui montre qu'il y a un relèvement justement des échanges qui montre qu'au niveau CEDEAO, il y a en fait une ampleur effectivement des échanges au niveau de cet espace CEDEAO qui est effectivement de 38%. Alors, pour les pays émergents, nous avons effectivement, depuis 2010, effectivement, les échanges continuent à hauteur de 23%. Donc, ce sont des marchés à conquérir au niveau de la CEDEAO. Toujours sur le secteur extérieur, dans ce diagnostic macroéconomique, oui, vous avez ici les différentes ressources que le Sénégal a. Donc, nous avons le tourisme, qui est important effectivement pour le Sénégal. Vous avez l'or. Le Sénégal est producteur d'or et il va en même temps être exportateur d'or. Donc, c'est une ressource importante. Vous avez effectivement l'acide phosphorique, vous avez la pêche qui est très importante au Sénégal. Le ciment, nous avons maintenant 3 grandes industries de cimenterie qui sont implantées, dont Dangote récemment. Vous avez l'arachide, qui est la principale exportation en matière agricole au Sénégal, le coton, le sel, les phosphates, et vous avez l'artisanat qui est très développé au Sénégal, les fertilisants, et vous avez les fruits et légumes et les produits forestiers. Je vous en prie. Donc, quelles sont les préférences commerciales du Sénégal? Alors, les préférences commerciales du Sénégal, toujours dans le secteur extérieur, vous avez ces différents pays. Alors, donc, nous avons l'initiative FTSA de l'Union européenne, vous avez effectivement le Canada, l'AGOA au niveau des USA, la Chine, le Japon, la Corée, alors donc les secteurs de l'UEMOA et de la CEDEAO, et notamment, bien sûr, avec l'Inde, qui sont des pays émergents. Toujours dans le secteur, maintenant dans le secteur financier. Alors, donc, dans le diagnostic macroéconomique, alors si on fait un tableau de comparaison, effectivement, entre pays, le Sénégal, son crédit à l'économie est de 20,3%. Un taux de bancarisation de 6,5%, donc qui est très faible, et que le Sénégal devrait effectivement ramener ce taux de bancarisation beaucoup plus élevé au niveau effectivement du pays pour permettre justement une plus grande épargne nationale. Quels sont les nouveaux acteurs que nous avons en place effectivement au niveau financier? Alors au Sénégal, effectivement, le diagnostic effectivement de l'environnement des affaires a montré effectivement qu'il y avait beaucoup effectivement de problèmes qui se posaient et de contraintes effectivement. Mais là, il y a eu de nouveaux acteurs financiers qui sont effectivement dans l'environnement, économique du Sénégal. C'est quoi? Vous avez la Caisse de dépôt et de consignation qui a pour objectif justement de financer les petites et moyennes entreprises stratégiques. Alors, donc vous avez le fonds JIP qui est garanti projet structurant, 500 milliards de francs déjà. Vous avez le fonds ZIP qui est un fonds souverain, effectivement, impulsion des projets structurants. La bourse régionale des valeurs mobilières, financement à long terme, plus de 7 000 milliards. Et vous avez les sociétés de bourse, facilitation de mobilisation des ressources, 17 au niveau, effectivement, de l'UEMOA. Donc, si on reprend toujours dans le diagnostic macroéconomique, vous avez effectivement un tableau de comparaison sur effectivement les infrastructures. Le Sénégal, en comparaison avec les autres pays, pour effectivement ces infrastructures routières, vous avez 14 825 km. Pour les voies ferrées, 906 km. Alors vous avez un peu, ce sont des marchés effectivement à conquérir pour effectivement de futurs investisseurs. Toujours dans ce diagnostic privé effectivement de l'investissement direct étranger. Alors donc vous avez effectivement en 2014, de 2000 à 2014, vous avez effectivement l'investissement direct étranger de 1537 milliards de francs. Alors je vous fais un peu l'économie des graphiques. Alors toujours effectivement sur les infrastructures d'exportation. Je vous en prie. Vous avez effectivement, pour les infrastructures d'exportation, vous avez effectivement les infrastructures maritimes. Ouverture maritime sur 5 continents par les majors. Port de Dakar en croissance et en extension continue. Et vous avez les perspectives du port minéralier de Bargny. Alors, au niveau aéroportuaire, vous avez plus de 20 compagnies intercontinentales. Et vous avez le nouveau aéroport, effectivement, aéroport international de Blaise Diagne, qui est en voie de finalisation, le Cargo Village. Vous avez les routes et les chemins de fer. Dakar-Bamako, corridor ouvrant l'entrée dans l'UEMOA. Parce que le Sénégal a pour, effectivement, objectif d'être un hub, effectivement, au niveau logistique. Application route inter-État en libre circulation, bien sûr, ce sont des marchés. Vous avez le chemin de fer Dakar-Bamako, effectivement, qui sera mis en place très récemment. Vous avez les aménagements spécifiques, les zones économiques spéciales, et vous avez les parcs industriels. Sur le Sénégal émergent, je pense que déjà la vidéo a pu le dire, alors qu'il s'appuie sur 3 axes opératoires. Transformation structurelle de l'économie, renforcement du cap humain, protection sociale et développement durable, et vous avez la gouvernance, paix et sécurité. Donc je crois que là, je veux faire un peu l'économie déjà, vous l'avez fait avec la vidéo, et je vous remercie. Peut-être que la prochaine fois, on aura les chiffres clairs. Je vous remercie. Merci.
Merci, Monsieur Diallo. Le temps nous presse un petit peu. Vous allez être puni de questions pour pouvoir passer tout de suite là, mais vous restez avec nous. La parole à Madame Christine Kane, qui est directrice de l'ARS, Africa Regional Services, à l'ambassade des États-Unis à Paris, donc département d'État. Merci.
Thank you. His Excellency, the Prime Minister of the Republic of Madagascar, His Excellency, the Minister of Industry from the Republic of Niger, ambassadors from Lesotho and Ethiopia, representative from the Embassy of Senegal, and Monsieur the Director General of International Relations for the City of Marseille, good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me to speak here this afternoon. I'd like to congratulate Paul Kananura and everyone from the Institut Mandela for making today and this weekend possible, and to all their partners, including the city of Marseille. You may be wondering why a representative from the US government is speaking. Obviously, we're not from the continent of Africa, but JECA, as it said, is about opportunities and partnerships with Africa. And so I'm here precisely because the government of the United States also believes deeply in partnership and opportunities with Africa. Partnership, in fact, describes the way that our President, Barack Obama, whose own father, of course, comes from Africa, as you all know, sees our relationship with Africa. Again, partnership. Just months after taking office, in fact, President Barack Obama traveled to the continent. His first trip to Africa was to Ghana as president. And he talked about how Africa is, and I quote, a fundamental part of our interconnected world. And he and we have worked to build that part so that it can play as productive of a role as possible. In 2012, President Obama released the comprehensive U.S. strategy towards sub-Saharan Africa, which continues to be the framework of our relationship with the continent today. It's built around the perspective that America believes in Africa as a region of growing opportunity and promise for Africa, for the United States, and we can add in here for Europe and the rest of the world, for our peoples and our economies. And the strategy is built around 4 pillars, which I'd like to briefly mention today. Number 1, strengthening democratic institutions. This means strengthening institutions at every level, supporting and building upon the aspirations of the African people for more open and accountable governance, promoting human rights and the rule of law, including a free press, and challenging leaders whose actions threaten the credibility of democratic processes. Number 2, boosting broad-based economic growth. This entails improving the region's trade competitiveness, and of course, this is a big part of why we are all here this weekend. Encouraging the diversification of exports beyond just natural resources, and it's been great to hear about so many of those from the 3 countries who've just presented, and ensuring that the benefits from growth are broad-based, not just in the hands of a few people. It also includes encouraging entrepreneurship. And I want to mention that in just 3 weeks, over 100 African entrepreneurs will join hundreds of other foreign entrepreneurs and American entrepreneurs with President Obama in Silicon Valley, California, to participate in the Global Entrepreneurship Summit. It was an idea launched by President Obama when he gave his Cairo speech many years ago. Last year, it took place in Kenya. This year, it's taking place in the heartland of our own entrepreneurship in Silicon Valley. And if you're interested in it, you can follow at GES2016.org. So these two pillars, democracy and economic growth, we believe are absolutely critical to Africa's future and that they cannot be separated. Strong, accountable, and democratic institutions, sustained by a deep commitment to a rule of law, generate greater prosperity and stability. They also meet with greater success in mitigating conflict and ensuring security. In the same way, sustainable, inclusive economic growth is a key ingredient to security, political stability, and development, and it underpins efforts to alleviate poverty, creating resources that will bolster opportunity and allow individuals to reach their full potential. So there are two things that are deeply intertwined, but I also want to mention the other two pillars as part of our strategy. Number 3, advancing peace and security. We believe that only Africa's governments and Africa's people can sustainably resolve the security challenges and internal divisions that have plagued some parts of the continent. But we also believe that the United States and its partners, of course, here in Europe and in the United Nations and beyond, can make a positive difference. And we're committed to partnering with responsible African governments to help them resolve their security issues. And number 4, promoting opportunity and development. This includes promoting food security, alleviating poverty, transforming public health, promoting resilience to climate change, responding to humanitarian crises, and ensuring a role for women and youth in a country's development. We do these actions through what our former Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton, liked to call the 3 Ds: diplomacy, and that's the Department of State and our embassies around the world, defense, our Department of Defense, and development, which are largely represented at the U.S. government level through USAID and the Millennium Challenge Corporation, or MCC. Before I close, I just want to expand for a moment on a word I've mentioned a couple times, youth, which we believe is Africa's greatest resource. Africa is a very youthful continent, as has been mentioned here already this morning. And our president has enjoyed, similar to what he did last week on his trip to Vietnam, interacting with African youth, both on the continent of Africa and in the United States. President Obama decided to create a youth initiative, which I hope many of you from African governments have heard of, called YALI, the Young African Leaders Initiative. YALI has many components, but the most famous one is the Nelson Mandela Fellowship, whereby we send 1,000 young Africans between the age of 25 and 35 to the United States each summer for 6 weeks of studying, networking, and getting professional development experience. And then they go back home to make a difference in the countries where they come from. YALI also now includes regional leadership centers, one in Dakar, in Accra, in Nairobi, and Pretoria, to provide leadership training, entrepreneurship activities, and networking on the continent of Africa. YALI includes online courses, access to U.S. leaders, including, of course, our own president, and much more. But in short, it was created because we deeply believe in the future of Africa. We're optimistic that the creativity, energy, and innovation coming from Africans, and especially African youth, that with that, the continent will have a very bright path ahead of itself, and that it will realize what we so often hear in popular slogans, Africa is rising. Thank you very much, and have a good, productive rest of your weekend.
Merci. Merci beaucoup, Madame Kane, pour ces mots. Je crois que le moment est venu de nous séparer. Donc, moi, je voudrais remercier l'ensemble des intervenantes de ce panel, vos excellences, les ambassadeurs, et notre ami Antoine. Et je crois que je vais repasser la parole à notre hôtesse, Madame Sohili, qui va nous expliquer la suite.
Je vous remercie. Donc, tout d'abord, c'est pour saluer la présence et souhaiter la bienvenue à Monsieur le Premier ministre donc, de Madagascar qui nous a rejoints. Et également souhaiter la bienvenue et saluer la présence de Monsieur le ministre du Niger, donc ministre en charge du commerce et de l'industrie. Je remercie également tous les participants qui ont développé et présenté les potentialités de leur pays ce matin. J'invite les premiers intervenants ainsi que les ministres à venir sur la tribune pour une première photo de famille. Et puis, je vous invite à tous à nous rejoindre pour le cocktail déjeunatoire donc, qui est offert juste à l'étage. Et nous vous invitons donc à découvrir la cuisine comorienne pour ce midi. Et nous reprendrons donc à 14h. J'inviterai tous les participants à venir nous rejoindre dans cette salle quelques minutes, un peu avant 14h, vers 13h50. Je vous remercie.
Pardon, excusez-moi. Excusez-moi, on vous prie de laisser les écouteurs ici, s'il vous plaît. Là, dehors, devant la porte, s'il vous plaît, si possible. It's okay.